Welcome back to Flint Creek Transport. My name is Justin. Well, several weeks ago, I released a video. It was actually just a short, I think on Facebook, and I might have put it on YouTube as well. But it was just a real short video explaining about two trucks behind me. One of them gets, 4.3 miles a gallon. One of them gets like almost 5, and they're 20 years difference. Basically, the reason the one was getting a lot worse fuel economy is because of emissions. But there was a lot of guys that were like, why aren't you getting 7-8 miles a gallon? Kind of saying that, hey, it's the driver's fault that you're not getting good fuel economy. Just a lot of different things. And, so this video is to kind of bring a little bit of clarity to some of the reason why we only get 4 to 5, maybe 5.5 miles to the gallon in our fleet. We're gonna do a quick pause in this video because there's a truck that pulled in and he's gonna be backing in, and in the meantime, while he backs in, I want to show you some of the other trucks as well. Truck 125, a couple of the tankers over here. Sorry about the wind noise. I'm still fine-tuning my camera and wind issues. We're working on it. Here's the green one. This one turned out really nice. This is a glider that we got from Illinois Truck Group. That's been a really good truck for us. So, that I also got that blue Peterbilt from them with the bad frame. It's like, you know what? You get one truck is good, one truck is not so good. It's all part of it. And then back down here to 153. Looks like truck 136. He just got backed in. I cannot win. Here comes another truck. I think he's gonna back in and drop that trailer. So I'll go up by 144. I'd like to shoot this video close to a truck because there's some things I want to show you. Here's 144. Hoping to run this truck here real soon. I don't even know where I was, but anyway, I was talking about the video that I made, I think, and how I got a lot of people wondering, why are we not getting the fuel economy that they're getting, and it's the driver's fault. Well, it's not the driver's fault. And the other thing that it was kind of surprising to me is in trucking, there's so many different applications, there's so many different things to do, and there's different things that trucks are used for. So our fleet is very unique, but there's a lot of other people that do what we do. There's almost like two different groups of trucking. It's hard to maybe be competitive with these big fleets. They're going up and down the road in pulling van trailers, and they're running Freightliners or Cascadias, Volvos, whatever else, and they're able to get 9-10 miles a gallon. But they're doing that because of certain reasons, and those are some of the things that I want to go over with you guys today of why our trucks are not getting the fuel economy that some of these other trucks are getting. Starting off, and I also shot a little bit of video at the truck show, kind of going over some of the new trucks there. And again, guys, I lost my GoPro, so all that footage is gone. But there's a couple things that these new trucks have. The first one is a dead axle. So instead of having a two tandem axle or a two axle drive system, only the back axle drives and the front axle will lift up. or it'll just be simply a dead axle. So instead of a big pumpkin and all that extra weight, it's just an extended drive line, and there's nothing, there's no pumpkin in the front. So what that does is everything will drive easier, and everything, it also is a lot lighter. So goes down the road easier. So that makes a pretty big difference. And in our fleet, that doesn't work. We need, many times we need to flip over our differential lock and lock it in because we're getting off road. We're getting into fields, and we need to have the inner axle lock. We need to have 2 drive axles. Just getting around our yard here in the wintertime, that single axle system would not work for us. But other fleets can do it, or fleets that do not get off road, fleets that are running in the south, or there's trucks that are running through here in New York in the wintertime, but that's some of why they're having accidents a whole lot easier as well. One of the other things that gets done to trucks is they put fairings underneath the truck or side skirting all along the bottom, around the front. They put the truck and trailer really, they just tighten that right up. They bring it right up against. They have fairings on the sleeper that extend back. It's a real short wheelbase. Makes everything a little more compact. There's not much wind that's hitting the trailer because it's so close together to the bunk of the truck. Well, again, in our application, that's really tough to do. Fairings underneath the truck or on the side would literally get ripped off in day one. We get into some places that the driveways are not asphalted, it's just stone. But when you're hauling out mulch time after time, stuff gets spilled. And when it gets wet in there, the guys they're almost scraping their fuel tanks. They've drugged their landing gear a couple times. I mean, it gets pretty nasty, some spots that our trucks get into. So those fairings would be gone. The distance between the truck and the trailer, we're limited to how tight we can go because we have a wet line on our trucks. These hoses have to get connected to the trailer, and your trailer can only come up so far before stuff's going to get all tangled up and twisted with everything just compact and really tight together. Things like that aren't going to work. The other thing they put in is hubcaps. Again, hubcaps are not going to work for us. A lot of show trucks and stuff will have a full moon that covers this inner part in here. Well, we can't do that because it builds too much heat. We run heavy here in upstate New York, and you can't do that because we start having wheel bearings and wheel seals and all kinds of issues because of the heat that builds. So that's the second reason why we can't get the good fuel economy. Third reason is automatic trucks. So what they do, a lot of these big fleets will have automatic trucks. That truck's going down the road, or that truck's shifting at the ultimate time. Now, what we do here is, like I said, we haul heavy. So we are legal to haul 102,000 pounds on a regular 5-axle rig. Now, to do that with an automatic, you can. But sometimes we're backing in off-road. We're backing in into a field. We're going through a field, and backing in a tight spot with an automatic truck would be very difficult with 100,000 pounds. I would love to try it. I'm not going to throw that theory right out the window, but it's much different. These guys with just pulling a van trailer or flatbed going down the road, they pull in, for example, they come into our yard and they deliver stone. They pull in, it's all on asphalt. They stop, run their paperwork in, come back out, pull around on asphalt, stop, undo their straps, get unloaded, back out, and down the road they go to the next spot that's on asphalt. So it's totally different line of work than what we do. So it would be a little bit more difficult to have automatic trucks and to put our drivers through that. We would probably save a little bit, but how much, I don't know. And how that affects fuel economy would be is, that truck is going to shift when at the prime time. You can set it up to shift at perfect or exact times when it should shift. Sometimes drivers, they'll put it in they'll put it as a 13-speed truck, they'll leave it in 12th gear, and they'll ride down the road. Well, it's not going to do that in an automatic truck. I know you can put it in manual mode sometimes, but that's just one of the reasons as well. Another reason is this right here. Let me show you. PTO, okay? PTO is hooked up to the transmission, which runs a hydraulic pump and puts pressure in these lines, which is hooked up to a walking forward trailer, which takes about 10 to 15 minutes to unload. And I need to have the truck running to be able to unload the trailer. So that is a pretty big thing in our fuel economy. So the truck's sitting there idling, and it's actually, sometimes it works a truck a little bit depending what you're doing, but it'll pull the truck down just a little bit. That's a huge thing on fuel economy. And sometimes our trucks are unloading 4 or 5 times a day. So that's an hour and a half of extra unnecessary idle time. So that's another reason why we're only getting 4.5 to 5 miles to the gallon. So another big one is gear ratios. This is a 355. Ratios here in the back. The ratios on some of these new Freightliners, some of these new Volvos, you can get, I want to say, like 218 gear ratio. This is 355. The lowest in some of our trucks is 336s. That means you're going down the road at probably 1,100 RPMs, 1,000 RPMs to 1,100 RPMs, and you're just idling along, which, you know, in some states you can do. Even in the New York State Thruway, it's fairly flat. And if you're only hauling 80,000 pounds, you can go down the road, getting pretty good fuel economy at, you know, and these new engines are made to run at 1,000 RPMs. That's, you know, peak torque is starting in around 900 to 1,000 RPMs and goes to about 1,300. So they keep their RPMs a lot lower, burn a lot less fuel. We couldn't do that. We could not do that because their first gear still has to be pretty high. You know, pulling 100,000 pounds with a 218 ratio would get interesting. I wouldn't be afraid to try it, but, you know, trying to back into a tight spot, trying to back into a bin or whatever with that kind of, you know, ratio, it would get interesting for sure. So another reason is because of the engines. This truck's got a cat motor. A lot of these newer trucks, these over-the-road trucks that are getting high fuel economy, are running a 12-liter engine, okay? 400 horsepower. Pulling 100,000 pounds, running 100,000 pounds with a 400 horsepower engine would be a bit of a struggle. You could do it, but you'd be the slowest guy on the road. It would be a struggle. That's another reason. You know, these guys are running down the road 80,000 pounds, and some of them are even running empty a lot too, or running light loads, and they're getting very good fuel economy because it's a much smaller engine. I feel pulling 100,000 pounds, you know, 500 horsepower is minimum. 475, 500 horse, usually that's about 15-liter engine. That's about perfect. You know, some of the guys like 550s, 600. Some of our trucks are 550s, some 600, but 475 to 500, that is about the minimum. So another reason is the APU units that they can put on some of these trucks. This truck does not have it. None of our trucks actually have any APUs. It does add extra weight, and I know there is a little exception that you can, you know, they would let you go like 81,000 or 82,000 in case you got caught, you know, a little bit heavy. So, but we don't, you know, there's a lot of the year we really wouldn't need an APU. It would be more so in the summertime for air conditioning. Our trucks are busy in the summer. We're running mulch, but it's a lot more local stuff in the summertime. I feel it would make a bit of a difference because when we go into, you know, in the summertime, it would definitely help our fuel economy if we didn't have to idle the truck all night for air conditioning. There's a lot of loads that we get paid by the ton, and You know, that's a ton. That's extra weight that we're dragging around. And, you know, we have permits for going into Pennsylvania for 90,000, 95,000. They're called an ag permit because of the grain that we haul down there. I don't know what they would say if we had an APU. And let's say we were like 1,000 or 2,000 pounds over with that APU. I'm not sure what they would say. You know, that's something that I could probably check into and try. But we're already adding. You know, we try to keep our trucks as lightweight as possible. You know, a lot of our bunks on our trucks are smaller bunks. None of our bunks are 86-inch bunks. We have 72 inches, the biggest on some of our kenworths and stand-ups. We do look at the lightweight because they're already maxed out with our aluminum walk-in floors. I mean, they weigh around 16,000 pounds. So where it gets really tight for us is when we're running product out of state and we're coming back into New York, and it's a palletized load, and it's gonna put us right there on the line. And a lot of shippers will not let you go out over 80,000 pounds. So we haul, like, for example, palletized rock salt or palletized just animal salt that comes in, or feed. And the feed mills are really particular about it. And nope, you can't go out over 80,000 pounds. Well, we're so close that I would have to forfeit that load because we couldn't do it. And it's really tricky because a lot of the loads that I can get, or a lot of the loads that we can put on our walk-in floors, or more ag-oriented loads, or like soils, like bagged soils, things like that, because they're walk-in floors, they're a tarp top, and a lot of shippers don't like them trailers. I'm limited with what I can haul, and they're 48-foot trailers. So a lot of freight would, you know, the shipper's going to try to max the trailer out or max the truck out. So some of the product is lighter, plastics and stuff like that we can't haul because it needs a 53-foot trailer. And it would be light enough, right? But it won't go on our trailer because our trailer is only a 48. I don't want to get 53-foot trailers because that's just dragging around extra weight here in New York, because we can max out our permits all day long on a 48-foot trailer. And then getting in on with a 53-foot trailer to some of these places, you know, it's not worth it. I'd probably be another 1.5 to 2 ton heavier maybe on a 53-footer. I don't know exactly, but gives you a little idea. So with an AP unit coming in out of state, some of these shippers, we would definitely have to forfeit some of the loads. It would put us over the line because they did not let us go out heavy. So that's some of the reasons why we can't get 7 mile to the gallon, 8 mile to the gallon, 9 or whatever. Probably the two biggest things is, oh, you know what? And I kind of missed this one, is I talked about it a couple times, but I said we haul heavy. That is a big reason. We haul heavy. We're legal 100,000 pounds, 102,000 pounds. On a triaxle, we're legal 107,000 pounds. On a quad axle, we are legal 117,000 pounds. So try to get good fuel mileage pulling heavy. It's really tough. It is really tough. But if I had a Freightliner Cascadia, you know, those trucks are already much shorter wheelbase. They're already light to begin with. You got a much smaller engine. The weight of the axle, you know, just because it's a single axle, single drive axle, there's a lot of things that make that truck lighter to begin with. So now I can put an APU on it, no problem. You know, so I'm here with this rig, like I'm maxed out. I want to try to stay as light as possible. So hopefully this gives you guys a little understanding of kind of why we do what we do. If I was simply out there running a van trailer down the road all day long, or a reefer, it would be a little bit different. I feel, you know, now you're competing with some of the bigger fleets, especially like maybe not so much reefer, but as soon as it becomes like a van trailer and flatbed, you know, you see some of these rates, what they're posted on the load board, it's pretty ridiculous what some of these rates are. And hence why we don't do a lot of flatbed work. I mean, we do haul for our sister company. And our van work is very minimal. You know, we only use it to keep our trucks busy in the wintertime, and we try to be very selective in some of the van work that we do because the rates can be so bad at times. I try really hard. You know, we try for a certain dollar per mile figure that we like to hit. You know, you got to know what it costs you to run these trucks down the road. Would I love to hit 7-8 miles a gallon? Absolutely. And I'm always trying to think of ways that I can increase MPG. You know, we have, you know, we watch fuel economy. I've tried different fuel treatments, a lot of different things, you know, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, when we're hauling heavy, when we got to unload with the PTO, you know, those things do really cut on the fuel economy. We actually had a Kenworth T680 that I bought or leased just to try to see how it would compare to our W900s with fuel economy. It was no different. It was actually one of the worst performing trucks in our fleet for fuel economy. It was a 2016 with an ISX 355 ratio. I spec'd it out pretty good. It was a 13 speed, but because of the hauling heavy, because of having the wet line on there, a couple things like that, you just can't get good fuel economy. It was aerodynamic, but again, aerodynamic. So I don't know if I touched on aerodynamics a lot, but aerodynamic trucks in our fleet is not really going to work because a lot of what we do is local work when we're hauling heavy. When you're going down the road with a truck like this, you're just going to 55 mile per hour. And then, you know, you're going 30 minutes down the road or an hour or 2 hours down the road. And you have this truck compared to an aerodynamic truck. The aerodynamic truck, you can hook up to just a van trailer or whatever you want. When you're doing short haul, it is going to be very, very close in fuel economy. Where these guys are getting that good fuel economy is when they're cruising down the road on the thruway at 65 mile per hour. There's no stopping and starting. They're just kind of idling along at 1,000 RPMs. That's when you're making money. Maybe someday I can do that. But if I would ever trying to be competitive with JB Hunt or with a big mega carrier, that's what I would be doing. I would be getting trucks like that. And I understand, you know, that's a whole different realm. That's a whole different market. And I don't really want to go down that road. I like what we do. We're a specialty carrier, and I'm always looking for ways to improve fuel economy, looking at ways to get better at what we do. But trying to buy a aerodynamic truck, it might make a 0.2 difference, if even. But my experience with the T680 that we did have, it wasn't anything better. That's my 2 cents. Can it be the driver? Sometimes it can be the driver, not always. You know, a lot of times drivers can make a big difference. It's just making sure, you know, a lot of drivers don't know the torque curve on an engine. They like to get in their truck, especially these cats, 15, 16, 17, 1800 RPMs, and they're running down the road. They like high RPMs. They hit a hill and they can pull it. That's not the torque curve. That's not the power curve on a 15 liter. So these 6NZs, 2WS engines, you know, it starts at 1200 and it goes up to 16, 1700. Low RPMs is going to get you your fuel economy. Truck 129 going to hook up on a flatbed, I think. All right, guys. I think this video got long enough. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully it gives you a little more idea why we do what we do. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.